Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're here today talking about a few of the things rabbits need because they do need more than just a place to live. Of course, they need a place to live, but they need more than that. Just giving them a house isn't good enough. So, one of the things you're really going to need is stuff for food and water. You have to feed your rabbits, you have to give them water. So, we're going to do a couple of videos on what rabbits need. Today, we're going to focus on things to put the food and water in. Food is obviously essential. Now, what works for me may not work for other people. So, these are just suggestions to get started. You'll notice that we use different feeding water solutions depending on whether we're inside or outside. So, food is the most essential. You'll need something to put your food in. Outside, we use little bowls that screw onto the sides of their dog houses because that's how we house them outside. Inside, we use bowls or crocks. The most popular option is a bowl or a crock. These can work well for holding rabbit pellets, but your rabbit might knock them over. So this is just a little metal bowl. It's flipped easily. Okay, my indoor rabbit, Gemini, also Capricorn, but mostly Gemini, really loves to flip bowls. She does it all the time. She flips these bowls like crazy, so they're always flinging all over the place. I find bowls all over the place. Even a heavier crock, it was easy for her to flip. She can flip almost anything. So, my solution to that is yes, this is a food bowl. It has to be washed. That's why this set is out because it's going to get washed. But this food bowl fits perfectly in here. It makes it a little bit harder to flip. Like this is really hard to flip. It's got little braces and stuff. It's actually for cats. But most things that work for cats also works for bunnies. So, the food bowl goes in there. Be aware that rabbits kind of like sitting in their bowls. So sometimes a rabbit will sit in their bowl and pee in it. Don't like that. I don't have a girl that does that right now. I've not had any of these ones do it, but I did have a rabbit a couple years ago who was always peeing in the pellets, and it was really, really annoying. If you're concerned about that, and your rabbit just won't stop and it's happening all the time and you're wasting a lot of food, use a small cat or dog feeder, something where they can't actually sit in it. Like this, Gemini could sit in this if she wanted. It's not really an issue for me because Gemini does not do that. So I don't have that problem, but it is a problem for some rabbits. But you do it if you have to. Okay, look for a solution that works if you have a rabbit that likes to pee in their food. A lot of the dog and cat feeders can still be knocked over, but it's harder to do if they're full of food. So if you do have a feeder, try and figure out a way to weigh it down so your rabbit can't flip them over. If you really have a problem with a flipper, try a J feeder. Now, I have a J feeder that's installed in the cage I use for potty training baby bunnies. I don't use J feeders a lot because I find J feeders kind of annoying. They are good. They attach to the sides of the cage, making them almost impossible to knock over. I say almost impossible because one of our outdoor rabbits, Pumpkin, figured out how to not only flip them over but destroy them. So that's why we stopped using J feeders. But in general, J feeders are more secure and they're easier to use. Okay? So they're not a bad thing. They have wire mesh on the bottom, so the dust rabbits create when they eat the pellets can fall right through. The pellets themselves stay on the bottom of the feeder, allowing the rabbit to feed freely without getting dust in their faces. You can get really large J feeders, so you don't have to fill them up very often. If you have rabbits that don't gorge on their pellets, that can work for you. Just keep the J feeders out of the rain. They're not waterproof at all. You can get some feeders that are designed to get wet. J feeders are not one of them. You don't want to spoil your food. Rabbits eat more than just their pellets. I'm going to talk about that in a later video, exactly what they eat, but they do need hay. You'll need something to put the hay in. Yeah, you could just throw it in the bottom of their enclosure or whatever, or even in their litter pan, but an actual hay rack is really the way to go. This contains the hay and helps reduce waste. There are plenty of options for hay racks, so take the time to search for what works for you and your rabbits. Most common is actually a wire wheel that is placed in the cage. I'm going to show you an image of a wire wheel that is not mine because mine's in the basement because Gemini threw it down the stairs. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go fetch it from the basement and fix it because she threw it down the stairs. These wheels open up and allow you to stuff them with hay as long as your rabbit's not throwing them down the stairs. The wheel spins as the rabbit eats the hay, and so it also helps entertain them. Also can be entertaining when they throw them down the stairs. Gemini. Gemini's glaring at me. It's funny. So I like those hay wheels, but, they get thrown down the stairs sometimes. If your rabbit doesn't chew on fabric, you might want to consider a hay bag. These are similar to larger hay bags for horses, but with holes designed for rabbits to forage through. Keep an eye on your rabbits if you are using hay bags. Many rabbits will chew on them. They'll destroy them. Take the bags away if that happens. I'm not real fond of hay bags, but they are an option, mostly for indoor rabbits. Hay bags tend not to work great if you have outdoor rabbits. One, because you're not supervising them as often. Two, because the bags tend to accumulate moisture and then the hay goes bad. So don't love hay bags. A tried and true hay rack is something that I like. I prefer hay racks. They come in many different sizes and some have a shelf or other areas for rabbits to sit in. You can build your own. You can get really cool ones online. Check out Etsy, for example. They're just really neat. You can even make ones that are designed to go over a litter box if you want. You can even build a litter box with a built-in hay rack. Those are cool. Since all of my rabbits like to toss things around their enclosures, especially outside, I like hay racks that I can really strap down. They're really helpful because then they can't throw them around. You can even get hay racks that have a built-in dish for pellets, giving you one container for food. But you do have to provide hay, so just think about how you're going to do that. So water is another necessity. You have to provide it for your rabbits. A lot of times a bowl works. I don't like bowls because I really don't like food getting flipped around, and I like water getting flipped around even less. Try for something they can't flip. So I actually like this. This is why this has double sides. You don't just put water in here. You put water in this, okay, in this little thing. Put the cap on. And then you stick this on here and the water's in here. And because of the weight of the water, the weight of the pellets, it's very difficult to flip. So I don't end up with water everywhere. This is actually my preferred style. Okay? I'm actually going to put a link in the description to something like this. You can get them in a variety of colors. I use pink because I like pink. But this is actually my favorite. So I'll put a link in the description to this. I love these. These are my choice. You can do a lot of different things though. Some rabbit keepers use a watering system with plastic tubes and drinking nipples. I don't love that. I really don't. It can help deliver water to your rabbits with less fuss, but it also leads to some problems. You've probably heard me say in previous videos that it's 40 below. It is often 40 below in the winter. It sucks. So, a water delivery system with tubing is going to freeze solid. But I don't even like them in the summer, honestly. They can carry bacteria. You just can't clean them very well. I don't love them. It also is difficult to monitor how much water each rabbit is getting. So if I use something like this and only one rabbit is drinking out of this bowl, I know how much water she's getting. So when I leave this for Gemini, when she drinks it and it's half full, I know she drank half that bottle. If I have a delivery system that delivers water to multiple rabbits from the same source, I have no idea who's drinking. So it's a good idea. I just hate those. I don't like them. Some people love them. I do not. But you also have to keep your tubes, if you're using the tubing system, you have to keep these away from your curious rabbits. Rabbits can bite right through the plastic tubing. Seen it happen. So I really like a setup like this. I don't love water bottles that much, even though I do have them. I mostly have water bottles for when I have young rabbits that came from somewhere where they're only used to a water bottle. So I hang a bottle and I put a little bowl of water right underneath it so they can learn to drink from a bowl, but they still have the water bottle if they need it. But these can be used as a permanent solution. I don't love them, but it is handy to be able to, again, monitor if that particular rabbit is drinking. If each rabbit in their own enclosure has their own water bottle, you can tell exactly how much they're drinking. You know they haven't spilled it, like they might spill bowl, things like that. You should use whatever works for your setup. Just have a way to monitor how much each individual rabbit is drinking. Okay? And you always need to have water available all the time. Rabbits won't eat if they don't have any water. So if you notice one of your rabbits isn't eating, check their water. Do they have enough water left? Is it clean? Is it cool? Is it fresh? If you're using water bottles or nipples, make sure the water can flow freely and that there's no obstruction. Okay? Rabbits can fail and die quickly without an appropriate water supply. So water is essential. Yes, they need their food. Yes, they need their water. They can't run out of either of them. Constant supply of hay, constant supply of water all the time. That's about all we're going to cover today. We are going to talk about other things you might want to have with your rabbits in the next video, because I don't want this video to go on forever, and also I have a Capricorn on the loose, so I'm going to go grab him, and we will see you tomorrow.